Hey everyone, this is my first time doing commentary like this. This piece is called Birds of a Feather, and what you're watching is the full process start to finish. This began very loosely without a clear plan and slowly turned into something much more deliberate than I expected. I'll talk a bit as it unfolds, but I also want to leave space for the work itself. This piece starts with an eyes closed doodle. I draw without looking and then rotate the paper 180 degrees and start to develop what I see. That shift is where intention begins to enter this process. At this point, people started commenting on what they saw. I had been uploading some shorts, like work in progress shorts on this piece. The general consensus, including my own, was that there was a figure here, someone full of thought or ideas. That feedback mattered because I was seeing pretty much the same thing, but I was also seeing something more. I was seeing birds start to emerge in this piece, and I started to bring them forward in a more deliberate way. Once all the birds and the framework of the tree were in, I started to add some color here. This is usually where a piece either starts to cohere or it starts to fall apart. The wings on this bird came in late, almost as an afterthought. I struggled here. Adding something after the main body, it always risks looking a bit bolted on. This was one of those moments where I worried I might ruin this, but I decided to move forward anyways, and I think it worked. But it definitely put me into a bit of a doubt spiral. I think I'm generally happy though with how it turned out. Once all the birds had color, my attention shifted more fully to the tree. I knew it needed more presence, but I was really wary of overworking it. Uh, Trees, when I observe them in real life, have a lot of density and the light shines through it. But translating all of those layers to this piece, I again had a worry that I might ruin it by adding too much branch density. But again, I think it turned out. Um, Lighting came in here, and this was another bit of a fear point. Lighting is something that I don't really work a lot with in my pieces, and I am trying to integrate it more. It kind of tests my skill or ability to add reflections and shadows. Uh, I am really drawn to stained glass artwork and geometric shapes. So I tried to put that energy in here without overpowering the other parts. The colors that you see me use here are some colored pencils that were gifted to me by a good friend, and it provided me with some more options. I felt like it added a softness to the light that really worked. Um, I have a propensity to get things going in a little too busy of a way in the artwork, and it almost becomes hard to look at because it's highly contrasted. So I took what colors I had access to and I just sort of ran it through ChatGPT to narrow down the palette and go for something more intentional. And I think that it worked. I think it helped. Here I'm working through the background and the tree color. Same concerns as before. I didn't want to use too many colors and with too much density. So I tried to minimize the palette. Again, I utilized ChatGPT to help me decide between the colors that I already had and how to pare down the list and make a minimal amount of choices to not overpower it. This is where the reflective metallic layer on the tree came in. I really love working with like metallic gel pens. It's not a traditional medium that I see a lot in stuff, and I like to use it on the light facing surfaces just to kind of add a little bit of extra like visual experience when you're in person looking at the work. Um, I I think it turned out better than I expected. This is something that I struggle with and like trying to make it look uh, intentional without being like overdone. And I think that it is quietly rewarding. I consider this piece mostly finished now, and so I tried to trim off the ragged edges, and I really wanted to fit this into a frame that I had picked up in 4 by 6 inches, but I would have to trim off too much of what I think are important pieces of this work to actually like fit it in that frame. So I think I'm gonna have to probably get a slightly larger frame and mat it, or look at an alternative. Here at the end, you will see that I rotate the um, piece around, and I have a light on a boom, and I just kind of sort of rotate the light back and forth in an effort to just show the reflective qualities of the piece. It's a small thing, but I think it was like a good way to close the process. Um, if you've been following along, thank you so much for spending the time with me while I produced this. If you'd like to support my work, I have a Ko-Fi and I have a Patreon. Subscribing here genuinely helps. I'll be making prints of this piece available on Redbubble, and the original piece I am going to make for sale on a, just to make me an offer basis. Either way, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you'll tune in for the next piece I make.